I'm Amy.
And I'm Chris,
Best friends of 30 years.
and we believe A Course in Miracles is the most enlightening,
Albeit slightly difficult,
personal development course we've come across.
we've walked many miles
In several countries,
analyzing and applying the course
we're bringing you our insights,
and challenges
our loves and fears.
as we apply this course to our daily lives,
We love its non-denominational and all-inclusive nature,
and want to share how you too can apply these higher principles in a practical
and hopefully more easeful way.
grab a tea
Or a glass of wine,
and settle in for some laughs and truths as we share real life tribulations.
and how we shift them into miracles. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to One Simple Truth. It's Chris.
And Amy.
And we have a special guest with us today that I'm excited to dive into the conversation here. We're with Danielle Marggraf. And Danielle is a somatic healing, feminine plus feminine wealth coach. And I'm just looking at your profile here and I want to already know like more about that. Amy and I were just talking about women's empowerment. So let's just kick off and tell us exactly what that is, and welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, you guys. So, I guess the best way for me to describe what I do around the somatic wealth work and the feminine work is that for many, many years, and we've known each other, Chris and I have known each other for many, many years. Um, Mindset, money, and manifestation were really key components of my journey. And money, in particular, has been a teacher of mine, right? It's just a spiritual tool and a teacher and a mirror to me. And so, I would actually prefer a different teacher, but that's the one I got. And so I did a lot of mindset work. I studied with a lot of amazing, right? Like the greatest mindset teachers in our time, right? And it's just really wasn't working for me. I'd get a little bit ahead and then I wasn't like getting any traction. And I found somatic work in 2017. And somatic work really is around this idea that we go into the body sensations, and that the body's sensations are actually the voice of the soul. And when you understand your own particular body's language and what it means and how to, interpret that in a way where it's your soul speaking, you have sort of this hack for mindset. So you get to go like you sort of ninja hack sort of this conscious mindset work into the body, which is where the subconscious lives. I won't go down a whole rabbit hole there, but essentially that's what it is. And how I connect it to feminine power, and really being in that feminine power, is that I believe our feminine power is our wisdom. And our wisdom includes our intuition, but it also includes our the clairsentient gifts and gifts about how our dreams, our clairaudience, our visions, our memories. And so really that's really what the whole platform is, and what I talk about. And I particularly love to focus on the unschooling of the good girl, and
Mm.
really connecting to more of this powerful, fiery, sort of rebel that we all have, this wild woman we all have within us that wants to be expressed.
Oh
I
my
love
gosh,
that.
so cool. I'm just
Right?
gonna sit back and you can just like talk for the next like just talk to me. Just this is so beautiful and so amazing. I love it. Like
Thank
I
you.
love the somatic, like the hack. How true, right? Because it's like our body is like our first manifestation really of like
Yes.
what's happening in our psyche. And you're right, like we all have different ways that comes up. Like one person, gets, if they've had too much of life, they start getting headaches or they get stomach aches or what have you. And it's like we've heard before, like sometimes it's your body telling you to slow down, but I love it even more like your body's like literally telling you something, like talking to you about something you need to hear.
Yes. It's amazing. actually.
And
I
how
love
do you,
this. I was going to say you are totally speaking our language. Amy's a physical therapist. You know, I'm big into mindset, but I love that yeah, the somatic and the clairs. I'm like, yes, the clairsentient, all the, clairvoyance, all the things. Yeah, it's so amazing. So okay, so we're totally like not following what we were gonna do, but that's okay. We go where we want to go. What's the biggest hack? Like, what can you share as seeing as the biggest hack?
Okay, so here's an example. I feel like story helps illustrate it so much that better than explaining. But
Yeah.
if you have questions, please ask me. So I have a client, I have this community, and she was saying we were doing this somatic experience, and she was saying that she couldn't feel her legs. Right now, a lot of people will go directly to like, they'll look up like, I'm a big Louise Hay fan
I
since
was
I
gonna
was
say
really,
Louise Hay.
all
yeah,
the time.
since I'm really young, right? Like we've been Louise Hay fans forever. And so people will go up and look like what do legs mean, right? But this is different. Okay. So she was numb in the legs, and instead of making it mean anything, she had this idea that she was like really wanting to get answers to. She had these questions, right? And one of the things that I do in like a session is it'll be like, are you on a quest? If you're on a quest for an answer, right? You're on this quest, you have all these questions, right? You have questions and you want to ask this part of you, like, because you want the answer, right? And instead of going outward to get the answer, you go inward and I guide you inward to get the answer. But you might also be in a state, right? Like, have you ever been in a state of grief or depression or sadness, right? And the last thing you want when you're in those states is for anyone to ask you questions. And so she was in a quest. She had this question. She has this question for herself. And so she went in and she was like, I noticed that I have this question and I have all these things that are bubbling up in my upper body, but my legs are numb. And I realized that I can't stand. Like I can't stand. Like I can't stand up. I don't feel like I could hold myself underneath me. And what we came to is what the answer that came to her, right, was if I can't stand, I should sit. And maybe I need to sit on this. Oh, I just got chills everywhere.
Ooh.
It's so simple, but it's so profound because as simple as that is, it's like, isn't that the miracle that we say we all have the answer? We always say the answer's within us. We all have the answers, but we can't hear the answer because we're forging ahead or pushing ahead or trying to figure it out. And so this idea that she should just sit, physically sit, and
Yeah.
just sit with what's bubbling up for her was like literally breakthrough for her.
Aw.
And so I think like it's sort of like that. Instead of going to, oh my God, my legs are numb, something's wrong, what does this mean, how do I move in this, how do I get the feeling back, it's like, no, just listen to what is showing up. So that's like one hack, is like listen to what is showing up, stop trying to figure it out or make it mean something that it might not, because you might be not translating your body's language
Mm.
correctly if you're trying to make it mean something or force a different outcome than what just needs to happen. Does that make
Very
sense?
cool. And
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
the process of you sitting with her to do that too is really, really cool. Like to do it together and to have someone supporting you while you're kind of figuring that out. Like that's so nice.
Yeah, well, we can't be in our conscious mind and our subconscious at the same time. So it's really hard. Like, I can't do this work to myself, right? Like, I need someone to guide it out of me. Everyone needs someone to guide it out of them, it's just how it's designed, I guess.
Yeah, I love that. It sounds like it's really about having that awareness of like even just taking a minute to tune in and go, what is going on? And to be able to help someone through that, that's awesome. Okay, so I'm curious, what happened after she sat and let herself do that?
So she had this complete breakthrough around her own work, around her expression, around her power, around what she wants to bring forth into the world, around her message, right?
Ooh.
It and because my work is really rooted in building your soul work is, right? It's like your soul work is what we want to express. And the money just is a byproduct. It's just the byproduct of that expression. It's like she got into a completely different understanding of how she wants to express, how she wants to move, building this body-led business in a way that is aligned to her, in her heart, in her way, in her power, in her identity, in her voice,
Mhm.
and completely changed how she's moving now in her business and making money. And right, like there,
And
it's like
literally her legs are
literally her
yeah,
legs. That's it.
I
Yes.
love it. I love that. That's so awesome. It's
Yeah.
almost like listening to your body, you're paying attention to those signs and signals, like what's going on, what's off. And then when you have that internal shift, your body shifts, everything around you shifts. That's really
Yeah.
cool. I love it.
Thanks.
So
Sounds
awesome.
fun. It sounds like fun too. Like it's making me feel like there's so many ways of doing your career or your life that can be like, this is fun, this is exciting. She had to recreate everything because she was probably going with doing what we do, like you said, undoing the good girl or undoing the shoulds, what she should be
100%.
doing. And then to be like, no, I'm going to toss all of that out and start fresh. So fun.
Yeah. Well, that's it, right? Because it's like we can talk about how our subconscious, like we all talk about how it's like we operate from 95% our subconscious, right? And we can talk about that, how we operate is paradigms and patterns and conditioning. But to actually go in there, have this realization, be able to be aware of that realization, and then change how we do it, that's it. It's like that awareness creates choice. We now get to choose something different, and then that choice creates change. And isn't that, I mean, I think that's part of why we're here.
Yeah.
That's our soul work.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love what you're saying. And just to even tie it into the Course in Miracles a little bit, it's like we have that free will, right? And so it's like
Mhm.
making that decision, like I want to feel my soul, hear my soul, do the soul's work, right? And then paying
Yeah.
attention and working through, with somebody else or however you're going to have that shift, like where are you being held back? And once you have that awareness, then it's like, yeah, you can just go and co-create, as the course would say, that love and joy, and just be peace and be filled up with that and put it out there to the world.
I love that. It feels so good just hearing you say that.
And
Yeah,
I feel like
we
just
have
to add
a choice. We have a choice. Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
Anything to add on to that too, because as you were speaking, Danielle, it has so much coming up about the course because it's so interesting always about how universal
Mhm.
all these principles are, whether you've
Yeah.
studied the course or you haven't. But
Yeah.
one of the things too that a course says is that um, when we're living in that mode of like your ego mode, or your sort of like you're more in your like fearful mindset or what have you, or living with lack, all you're seeing is the past. And it's what's
Mhm.
bringing it up when we go to those things of like, I should be doing it this way because of all the things I've learned in the past, or the things I've seen in the past, my experience in the past. And when you kind of cut it all off and you just cut the fat of like, okay, that's all the past. Everything I'm
Mhm.
deciding is coming from the past, which is essentially the subconscious. Like all the things
Mhm.
you stored, like, oh, that's dangerous, that's dangerous, that's dangerous. Then you're cutting the fat and you're going, what about now? How would I
Mhm.
recreate it if I like started from this moment right here?
I
I
love
love
that.
that. Yeah, that's so awesome. What a great combo.
I needed this morning. Feeling very lacking full.
lacking full. Well, and I love what you said too about the whole good girl thing, right? It's like, oh, those beliefs run deep in our
Deep.
conscious. Yeah. And it's like it stems from, whatever it's been passed along from somebody else's
Mhm.
fear, guilt, or shoulds or coulds or whatever. But yeah, it's like when you can, like you said, Amy, trim the fat. I love that. Just get rid of it. Then you can really just be yourself and do what you're wanting to do, be filled with joy, which impacts people in a more positive way anyway, when we're in that place, right? It's like, we think that it doesn't, we don't want to hurt someone's feelings, yada, yada, yada. But it's like, no, when we are in that place and aligned with what we're talking about, your soul source, you just have so much more love and joy to give to other people anyway. So it's just, counterintuitive, I think, but it's so much better.
I think it is like the stripping, right? It's the
Yeah.
stripping away everything that's not us, right? That's not the actual I am of the essence of who we are, right? And isn't that the whole idea of manifestation anyway, right?
Mhm.
You know, I had bought the Course in Miracles during my divorce back in 2011. And man, that is quite a read, right? And so
It's a piece, right?
yeah, it's a beast. So I bypassed it and kept it on my shelf and decided to read instead A Return to Love, right?
Mm.
Marianne Williamson's. And the thing that I remember about that time, and I don't know how I remember this, but I remember picking up that book and deciding that I'm going to be better and not bitter,
Mm.
and deciding that this is a pivotal point in my life and my babies were babies. I mean, they were, my son was still nursing. My daughter wasn't even 3 yet. Right now I have teenagers. I'm in the thick of it. But they were babies. And I thought I have a long road in order to be the person to reclaim an identity of myself that I felt was congruent and aligned with the soul nudge I have of who I am here. And I picked up that book, and I really believe that that book and in that time, like, that all came to me at a time that I really needed to um decide. Like, it was almost like a fork in the road, right? Like, I could be angry and bitter and resentful, or I could be who I wanted my children to see and emulate. And oh, I just got chills. And that was a really powerful moment. And for me, and obviously I don't know this text as good as you guys do. But I know that if we are returning to love, like, right, like, then how can we get it wrong?
Mm.
How can we get it wrong? But that a lot of that conditioning, right, of the good girl, which is all shrouded in shoulds,
Mm.
and shoulds live on our shoulders, right? And we gain and the heaviness and the pressure of, and it takes us away from who we are. It really does take us away. It's socially acceptable, but it's not the courage that we need to be in our feminine power. And I think a lot of people believe feminine power to be passive, and just this sort of flowery, goddessy lily pad sort of energy. And I believe feminine power is really about being a leader in what we believe, and fiery and disruptive, and not aggressive in an angry way, but
Mm.
aggressive in a powerful way. And that is not socially acceptable to women more than anyone, I think. And so raising kids to know that, like, hey, right, we can be loving, soulful beings, but also in our power, and that people are not going to like that,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just, that's
Love it.
how do we move through that, right? Like, I think that's sort of how I want to move through it.
I love that, and so many things are coming up as you're talking. And I was just thinking, for me, it's almost like this no BS approach. And when I think of it in terms of the course, I think of it in terms of the ego. Like,
Mm,
nope, absolutely not. And then it starts showing up, and you're like, no, no, like taking a stand, right?
yeah.
For the love, for the joy, and being treated that way, the self-worth, right? And you start to get that back. It's also reminding me, I was at a parent teacher conference last night, and my daughter's psychology teacher right now, she is like badass. Like, she is like, what you like, yeah, like I am woman, hear me roar, like tattoos and ripped. And, but then I'm going to cry because like so soft at the same time. Like
Mhm.
big hugs, like we were held hands at the end, like we're going on a camping trip this weekend, like see you there, like yes, and it's just this like connection. And she was just saying how nice it is to hear my daughter's voice in class and what she has to say. And
Mhm.
we need more women. And I'm just like, as you're speaking, I'm like, it's like using our voice, like
Mhm.
that's, and it doesn't have to be harsh, like you're saying. It can be no BS over here, but like, connected and loving, and let's stand together, over here. So
Mhm.
yeah,
I love that.
And I want to speak to what's happening right now, which is that we're all very excited by that kind of energy. Like the person that we meet is very authentic. And so I want to go back to what you said like a minute ago, Danielle, which was that we're afraid, like it's not socially acceptable and we're afraid of it. And that is what we tell ourselves. And what is happening right now is we're showing how much we actually love the opposite. We love the authenticity. We love a powerful
Mhm.
woman. We love that powerful woman, Chris, where she's also going to give you a gentle hug. Like that is the
Mhm.
feminine energy that you're trying to coach people to do. And
Mhm.
that we are all telling ourselves like, oh, don't be that. But when we really hash it out, we're like, no, we love that. Like it's
yeah.
beautiful, it's strong, it's connected, it's what we're craving, but we're all the messaging is like, don't be too much of this or too much of that.
But we're all
Right. It's
still
like a
on it.
double.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all sick. We're all sick of the other way. We're like, nope, it's our time now.
Yeah.
Here she comes. Watch out. What's so interesting? I'm re-listening to the course. I'm back at the beginning, and the lesson this morning, funny enough, and I was like, I wonder if I'm listening to this because something's going to come up in our interview today. And it was talking about how like the lamb and the lion can lay side by side and like coexist.
Mm.
And like there's no danger. It's, both together. And I was like, oh, that's so nice. I love that.
Well, think of the mother, right? We are nurturers. We are like tender. We kiss the boo-boos. We calm the nightmares. But fuck with our people.
Yeah.
Mess with my kids.
Oh yeah.
Right? And
Oh,
a
hear
whole
me
nother
roar.
version. Yeah.
Which is great. It's like they're both are rooted in love. I think that's like the
Yes.
arching thing. It's like sometimes
Yes.
you have to take an action, and sometimes are more like passive, quote unquote. It's yeah, I guess it's all good. It's all from that.
Well, and sometimes the 3D actions do not match, right? Don't always look socially
Mhm.
as acceptable but when we listen to the soul and move with the soul, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, they don't always necessarily match, I don't think.
Yeah, so true. So true. So you've already touched on this a little bit, but what does it look like to be miracle minded for you?
Well, I'll tell you, I think for me, all right, I'll say it as it, I don't know if it'll make sense, but I'll say it as it came through for me, which is for me, it's about being a conduit, being a channel between my 3D world, my actual physical material life, and my spiritual soul level self. So how that looks for me in my body, right, is I make a decision, say I make a decision, right, first, and then I lean back into the soul led path and way and surrender to that as the way forward, right? So, can I tell a quick story? I don't know how much time we have.
Yeah.
I just want
Oh,
to.
yeah. We're
Oh,
good.
okay. Okay. I didn't want to. So, okay. My back last year I was invited to go to London. Very last minute. It was on a Thursday night. the event was going to be on a Tuesday morning that I had to be there by 10 a.m. Right. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do it. And they were like, what do you mean? Just figure it out. And I was like, I want to go. I think I need to be there. And I didn't have a passport. So how do you do that? Even in post-COVID world, how do you do that? I don't know. So, needless to say, I'll spare you all the details, but needless to say, I had all these obstacles to try to figure out how to get a passport, and I had to call the government and I had to find a way there, and I needed to get all these documents, and I couldn't find my birth certificate, and how and I s- and nothing stopped me from getting to this miraculous 8 a.m., an hour away from where I live, appointment to try to get a passport, lacking my birth certificate, mind you. Okay, how do you do that, right? And I didn't know how, but I knew that I needed to be in London. And I knew that if there are powers that be larger, that loom larger than me, if I was going to walk my talk in what I teach and what I share and how I live my life, then I was going to go to this meeting, I was going to go to this appointment, and there would be a way. A way would be made. And so they ask me this question. And when you're in survival, which a lot of us are, right? Just because it's just how we move, just collectively, we're moving in survival. Individually, we have stuff that we move in survival. We can't see how to make the way, right? That's why we have source, spirit making the way for us, right? And so we can't see the way. And out of nowhere, she says to me, did you ever have a passport? And I said, oh my God, when I was 19, I had a passport, right? So I'm 51. Last year I had turned 50. So there's a lot of years in between and a lot of stuff that's happened in between, right? And I was like, oh my God, I did, but I don't know where it went and I don't know where it is. And I definitely don't have one now. She goes, well, if you pay this much money, we'll look for it. Anyway, now a way was made, right? A way has been made, but it turns out that they don't guarantee you passport same day. So I had to just wait and hope and pray. So again, all these things were coming together. Eventually, what happened is I got the passport at just under the time that I needed to get it when the window was going to close, and there were 75 people in that room waiting for their passports. No one was guaranteed to get that passport that day. I got my passport. I had to drive 2 hours in the opposite direction to get my flight. And I get through right as they're boarding. I
Wow.
get and I find my way there. And while I'm on line of security, turns out I was on the wrong line. But as I'm going through my line in security, there was this couple and they were wearing shirts that said, faith is not by sight, right? It's not by sight, right? To believe and to be like God works in faith, not by sight, right? So I could see, right, that it wasn't going to work. When I ask this question to people, when I share this story, people say they would have stopped the second they didn't find their birth certificate, that they wouldn't have even made the trip to the appointment because they were limited in their sight of what could happen. And so I guess that story to me demonstrates how my mind works in miracle, right? As a miracle minded person, is that just because what I see is not the way or the only way, but that there are so many ways that once we make the decision, though, of what we say we want and how and where we want to go, the will, right? That I had the will, but that was clearly, I mean, there were many obstacles along the way that I won't even get into, but none of it was by my physical sight, and all of it was from my source site, my
Yeah,
desire. So that's really what it means to me.
I
I don't know
love
if I
that.
answered your question. I
Yeah,
hope I
no,
answered your
no,
question.
that was
Okay.
amazing. Oh my gosh, what a story. And I'm even hearing, like, listening to source, like even listening, like I need to be there. Like that was in alignment with
Yes.
something else. You was in motion and you were co-creating and you listened, which gives me like the tingles. And then it's like, okay, like let's see then, let's keep going, right? And we were talking last week about moving mountains. Like that is an example of moving mountains. Like there's a whole source, whatever our belief system is around it, there to support us. And like, just go, like, and then you have to surrender, right? And
Yeah.
keep saying yes, like there's got to be a way. And
Yeah.
that's so incredible. Oh my gosh, amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it's so like these stories are just so incredible because it's like I think we forget or maybe we don't know, like, right? We want to practice this, like listening and surrendering and having faith, and the most incredible things can show up. But it's like we do have free will. We could have been like, no, forget it, right? See all the obstacles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mind's stuck on that part. I'm like, yeah, so many times you get a great idea and you're so excited. And the first sign of no, you're like, oh, okay. It's so
Well,
common.
I love that you said that, because I think that's the biggest bypassing of all in the spiritual world, is this idea of like, I guess it's not meant to be. I guess
Yes,
it's not the right time.
totally.
It's such crap. It's like,
Yep.
what are you talking about? Right. And if there's a sense of that, yeah. But obstacles is, we just talked about that a little bit earlier, right? This idea of getting, when we get to our true self, right? We need to move everything out of the way that's not in alignment with the I am, that source, that essence of you. It's like, it's the same exact thing. If you're going to manifest and create something, it's not just like a free ride to the thing. It's like, what do you need to learn? What do you need to overcome? What is it that you need to experience? And that contrast is part of the journey. So if we think that the right way means no contrast, then your mindset already is not set up for miracles, because the miracle way isn't the miracle mindset. This idea of bring it all, I bring it on, let's go. And right, like how fun would this story be if I didn't like get, like it wasn't thundering and lightning and it didn't take me extra long to get where I wanted to go, or I got through security and I was at the wrong gate. All true, right? But how inspiring would this story be if it was like, oh, I got the passport and I went? It wouldn't even be a thing, right?
Right.
So
So
I don't know.
true. No,
Yeah.
I so hear you. I've always thought that too, because like Amy and I both made big moves from small towns in Canada to California. And I always thought that was when I was learning about the law of attraction and manifesting. And it wasn't easy because I had to shift my beliefs. I was leaving our family. We're taking the firstborn grandkids. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't easy because I had to have the shifts. So it's like I had to grow and be okay with like following my dreams and all the things, right? And it's like that doesn't mean you're not on the right path if there's a bump. If you have that will to do something, that is what you have to follow. And there are going to be bumps, right? And so this whole thing about, oh, if it doesn't flow, then it's not right.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's like, hey, I'd love, like, let's get to that place where it's like, woo, we think it
Yeah.
shows up. Yeah, it just flows. Like, I think that's the ultimate, but it doesn't mean you're on the wrong path if there's some bumps, like, there's some growing to do.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. Oh, well, I could sit here all day and talk about this stuff. I'm like just being mindful of your time, everybody's time. But thank you so much for sharing. This is amazing. Where can people connect with you if they want to learn more about this?
Yeah, so you could, if you're on Instagram or Facebook, my name, Danielle Marggraf, would just give me a follow and I'll give you a follow back. On my website, daniellemarggraf.com. And then if I don't know when this is going to air, but we have my book just came out.
Ooh,
The book release is October 21st. It's called Embodied Millions. And it's about all we talked about, so if that's just your jam, then I would love, we have a pre-launch 99-cent ebook right now, and then the book comes out October 21st. So yeah.
amazing. Okay, we'll include all of that in the show notes, and congratulations. That's
Thank you.
a huge thing
Yeah,
to
it
bring
is.
into this world.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, so connect with Danielle, everyone, and the shoulds are in our shoulders. That's like, if you're feeling bogged down, ladies, right?
Yes.
Let's tune into that. Reach out to Danielle, get that shifted.
I love that.
Okay, guys, until next time.
Thank you.
Please click and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. And if you would like to learn more about readings and coaching with Chris and Amy, please visit chrisatley.com. Until next time.